Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, and we are refilming this intro. Frankly, I wasn't even sure I was going to post this review, but we'll get into that. So I didn't really feel right posting this review without posting like a little explanation of like what went on. Some of you guys may have been aware of some of the happenings behind this launch, and some of you guys may have no idea. Some of you guys may not care, but a lot of you guys really do care. Basically, this collection that I'm about to review used to be a collab launch. It was called the Story collection. It has now been transitioned into the Story of Motherhood collection, and it is no longer a collaboration. When this launch was announced as a collaboration, I honestly really didn't know who the collaborator was. She's someone in the family influencer space, which is a space that I really don't spend that much time in. I don't have kids. It's not really a space where I consume a lot of content. And honestly, she just wasn't really super active in the Buffbunny community, so I didn't really know who she was. So after the launch was announced, members of the Buffbunny community who knew about this person or had looked into this person made not only Buffbunny, but also me and the other Buffbunny affiliates and athletes aware of some of the information and concerns around this person, around their family. I'm not going to get into the details. It's all Googleable. And I did look into a lot of it myself and listened to you guys. Anyways, after learning more about this person and listening to you guys, I definitely agreed that I thought the collaboration should not be continued. And at that point, when the collaboration was still going on, I was not going to be posting this review. And if you noticed on my Instagram, I really haven't posted anything about the launch kind of since. And I'm honestly just an affiliate of Buffbunny. I do get commission from using my code, but I'm not an employee of the business. I don't own the business. I really don't have to be making any sort of statement here. But while Buffbunny did post a story saying that they were no longer moving forward with this launch as a collab and we're going to be changing it to the Story of Motherhood, I did want a little bit more of a statement and apology from them. And while I understand addressing it definitely brings attention to it to a lot of the people who had no idea that anything was going on, but I do think the community deserved a little bit more. That being said, I've never been a CEO having to navigate these decisions, and I know that that's a very tough place that they were put in. I honestly don't know how much Buffbunny Collection knew about this person before moving forward with the launch, if they knew about any of this. If they did, then they obviously didn't take it very seriously. I think they are clearly taking it seriously now. Not only has the community spoken up, but also the athletes. We were very clear with them that we were not okay with promoting this launch given the ties. I've had people asking like, oh, aren't you worried that Buffbunny is going to have an issue with you not promoting the launch or even making a statement right now? I'm not worried at all because we've already voiced our concerns to them, and they've made it very clear that if we didn't want to share anything from this launch, it was not going to negatively affect us in any way, and they want us to be honest with our communities about our thoughts. Anyways, this collection is now the Story of Motherhood, and it won't be supporting the original collaborator. So if you're trying to support anyone in this launch, it'll just be the person whose code you use, whether it's mine, whether it's someone else's. And due to my schedule, I actually ended up filming this review before any of this came out, so keep in mind if my tone should be a little bit different. I did film all of this before, and honestly, I love reviewing activewear. I love sharing my thoughts and feelings about things with you guys on this channel, and I just genuinely love being here. I had already filmed the review, and I honestly just genuinely felt bad to not post the review because some of you may be choosing not to shop this launch, which I still 100% support. But for the people who do want to shop the launch or honestly just want to watch the video, I still wanted to post it for you guys. And since they did remove the collaboration, that did make me feel better knowing who the launch was supporting. That being said, there are a lot of you guys who just watch my videos just to be here. And I hope you guys know there is never any pressure to shop from any launch. Even though this launch is no longer a collaboration, if you're still feeling unsure about shopping this launch, I honestly encourage you to just sit out. At the end of the day, it's just clothes, and there literally will be more before you even know it. Before you even want any more, there will be more launches. The FOMO passes very quickly. If you are shopping the launch, as always, and you want to support me, you guys know what to do. I have my code Kathryn, it gives you 10% off, and it does support me. But I also would never want you guys to feel like you should shop a launch just to support me. I get those comments sometimes, and I'm like, no. I would never want you to do that. I want you guys to genuinely already want to shop, and then if I helped you out, you can use my code, and that's very appreciated. But if you want to support me, you do not need to spend any money to do that. You support me by being here, watching this channel, subscribing to this channel, liking my videos, just generally being here, and I truly appreciate that so much. That's another reason why I make my monthly giveaways that I host free to enter. There are so many ways to enter, including using my codes for launches. You can get entries that way, but most of the ways to enter are completely free because I just truly appreciate you guys being here in general. So anyways, that was a lot longer of an intro than I had expected, but I just kind of wanted to keep you guys in the loop let you guys know my feelings. And without further ado, we will get into the review. This launch is happening on Saturday, June 14th at the normal 1 p.m. Central Time. You guys are always wanting pockets. My thighs like actually feel like there's a tourniquet around them. Nothing is right on this top. I love it. I love it. Love the material. It just feels so lightweight, super, super stretchy. This launch definitely focuses on a bunch of bright, fun primary colors. Been loving all the brights. We also have a bunch of returning colors, which is amazing because we can mix and match. If you have a rainwater blue, salsa red from Buffbunny launches in years past, we can still mix and match those pieces. So if you just see like a bra that you want, you can match it with an old pair of leggings. So I love to see those old colors returning. We also have some running friendly pieces, a bunch of different inseam options for shorts. There are like 4 different inseam options for shorts. We have pocket leggings, pocket shorts. We have running friendly items, which are run approved. We have running accessories. And most importantly, we have gingham. There are very few patterns that I truly love, and ginghams and plaids are one of them. They have always been one of my favorites. Buffbunny was asking in years past what prints they should do, and I'm always like, gingham, gingham, gingham. I know it's popular in swimwear, but why not do it in activewear? And I'm so excited that they did it. It's so cute. And while we have some definite hits in this collection, there are also some unfortunate misses. So I'll be giving you guys all of my honest opinions always. And we also have some cloud sweats. So there's a lot going on. I've already been filming for like 4 to 5 hours. So let's get this going. All right, we're starting off with launch colors. Starting off with the ginghams. We have pink gingham, which is an almost neon pink. Then we have a red gingham. It's giving picnic in the best way. We have salsa red. We have been doing lipstick red recently. Personally, I prefer lipstick red a little bit more. Salsa red is a little bit more on the orange side, but I think it really works with the gingham. Lucky Charm is back. Haven't seen her in a while. Sunbeam, which we've seen a little bit more of this year as well. You guys know I die for yellow. Indigo Shadow, which is a true navy. I believe that is a new navy. Rainwater Blue, I'm wearing an old Rainwater Blue right now. We've seen it in a couple Buffbunny launches. Always a beautiful color. Then we have Pink Starburst and Pink Sugar. Same colors, just slightly different based off the fabrics. All right, I'm going to mostly be separating this review based on fabrics. So we're going to start off with our nubre pieces. We are starting off with our Ivy Wrap sports bra. We've seen her before. Made of the nubre fabric, obviously, because we are reviewing nubre pieces right now. Kind of a bandeau shape with a slight V. This flattering wrap detail in the front, removable cups, adjustable spaghetti straps, then a cute little strappy detail in the back. Buffbunny tonal silicone branding on the back left here. And there are no changes to this one based off last time, except for they reinforced the stitching where the strap attaches in the back. It caused a little chafing before. Spoiler, still caused some chafing, but it is reinforced now and just a little bit neater looking, but otherwise it's the same. Definitely a little bit more for the IBTC than the BTC. If you guys didn't know, IBTC, itty bitty titty committee, BTC, big titty committee. So IBTC, small bust, BTC, large bust. Anyways, let's try it on. All right, here's the Ivy Wrap sports bra. This one has kind of a bandeau shape with these little spaghetti straps, and it has the wrap detail. So it has some elements from Candy Wrap. Coverage, I would say it's a medium coverage. I do get and it was a little bit more prominent when I was at the gym, just a little bit of spillage out of this one, but I'm definitely not ever going to fall out of it. The coverage is good. So medium coverage. It just has that bandeau shape, which personally I don't prefer. I just feel like it doesn't really suit my shape very well. I do get a little armpit going on here, and I do feel like the straps are pretty wide out. Even when I tightened these straps quite a bit, I do feel like I was kind of adjusting them at the gym. They never fell off or really even got that close to falling off, but they just had that feeling that they were just a little bit too wide set for me. Support is still a low to medium support. It has good compression, but just not a lot of lifting because of the straps, and nice and smooth along the sides. And then in the back, you have that little crisscross strappy detail. This is where the Ivy part of the name comes from. These straps are adjustable, and even though they fixed that area of the strap, they kind of reinforced it a little bit. I still do get a little bit of irritation during my workout right where the strap attaches to the bra, and it does pinch into the lats a little bit. I didn't really notice it during my workout because it does go like kind of right underneath, but just thought I mentioned. So yeah, overall I think this one's really cute. I just don't really love the shape of this one, and the straps are just a little bit too wide for me, so this one's not a top choice. Moving on, we have another returning bra, but we have not seen the Geo sports bra in a minute. So this is our Geo sports bra, last seen in like 2022, I think in that 70s. I think this was first seen in the nubre launch like 2021. So it's been a minute. An OG nubre fabric bra. It's a little bit more of a high coverage option. So we have this high neck, and with this collection specifically, they added these little contrast piping details. So in the gingham ones, we have the contrast in the solid color, but there are some options with contrasting colors. Removable cups, there's a little seam in there to make sure the cups don't come up. Tank straps. And a fun thing about this one compared to other long line bras, even from Buffbunny, is they actually have a little 1/4 inch elastic that goes under the bust there to really keep you nice and secure. And then in the back, they have this beautiful strappy design. And this one does have 3-hook closure. I think it does kind of need the 3-hook closure in order for you to get it on. I don't love 3-hook closure in bras, but we have 3 rows of 3 hooks. And it even comes with an extender with 3 more hooks. I have never had to use that because I'm on the tightest hook. I think it runs a little bit big, but anyways, quick comparison between the new Geo and the old Geo. Biggest difference is the neckline has changed. It was a little bit wider before, and now it has a little bit more of a tapered look to it. We now have the contrast stitching, so that's changed. Also, just the way that the straps are sewn in has changed a little bit, but minor changes there. And it's overall just a little bit more true to size. I don't get as much neck gaping. I used to get like some fabric wrinkling in the neck area. Still runs a little bit on the bigger side, so size down in between, but more true to size now. And overall, just like cleaner construction. Buffbunny's obviously improved in the past years since they've had this bra, but let's try it on. All right, here's the updated Geo sports bra. It's been so long since we've seen this one. Fitting a little bit more true to size than the original version, just ran a little bit big. So this one is more true to size. We have a long line portion under the bust here with that little elastic on the inside to keep it nice and secure. Cup pads, there's a little seam that keeps the cup pads from going too high up the neck. And then, as we said, compared to the original, it does come in a little bit more in the shoulders and just is a little bit better fitting along the neck. It's less gaping. Because of this, there is like the tiniest bit of like little armpit, but it's not side boob. Full coverage overall. Support is like medium to high, depending on your bust size. Probably wouldn't run in this one, but it's really good support, good coverage, very comfortable. I'm not feeling any pinching in anywhere. And I do get a little bit of wrinkling right under there, just a sign that it runs just like a tiny bit on the bigger side. So if you're in between sizes, I would be sizing down. And then here we have the back, that cute little strappy detail. The addition of this little piping is new because they're doing like a little contrast detail. And then we have the 3-hook closure, and I have it on the tightest setting in the size small. So again, if you're in between, you can size up because you do have that extender, like worst case if you needed it, but it all fits really well. It scoops nicely away from the lats in the back. And yeah, I don't always love a high neck sports bra, but I think this one is a nice way to get like a lot of this cute little gingham pattern. And then just to show, I did just pair this with some OG Buffbunny Rosa leggings in the salsa red because they didn't have just like plain Rosa leggings and I already had these. So I love that they're bringing back the old colors so we can more easily mix and match. All right, then super quick, we have Legacy 6-inch shorts and Legacy 4-inch shorts. So we reviewed those a bunch of times, but nubre fabric, these are a high rise, so they are not ultra high, a little bit lower than the classic Legacy legging. They hit right at the small of the waist, double thickness waistband, no top band, no front seam. Coming in both those 4 and 6-inch options, I prefer the 6-inch. I think it's a little bit better for bigger thighs. Medium compression, medium to high on the booty scale. We have that tri-arch detail in the back, just kind of curves around the glutes nicely. And the biggest thing here, and why I don't have them right now, the gingham shorts are slightly delayed. I think they should make it in time for the launch, but I don't have it with me to review for you guys. Hopefully I can get a pair before the review goes live, but honestly, don't count on it. That hasn't been happening lately, but the gingham patterns specifically are lined, which means there is a layer of fabric on the inside. We'll see the Dream Heather pieces later on, but when a garment is lined, that means you have an outside piece of fabric like normal. Usually you just have one layer of fabric and then they add a thinner material on the inside to increase the opacity so that it's not sheer. A lot of people have been saying double lined. I used to be one of those people, I would say double lined, but if it's double lined, that would mean there's 2 lining and then an outside piece. So it's just either double thickness or lined, and it's lined. So the ginghams are lined, but I've been told and I've seen that it is different than the Dream Heather lining. This one's really thick, we'll get to that. But I've seen people in the gingham shorts and it doesn't look like they're super squished down. It does seem like a much thinner lining. So they have adjusted the fit to compensate for the lining and everything so it doesn't squish you down. So fingers crossed, if I get those, I'll insert it, but I would assume to go with your normal size, but probably size up if in between. That being said, the ginghams should be opaque and squat proof, or else why add the lining? Okay, I was desperate to try the gingham shorts because the Dream Heather shorts went so poorly. So I was really worried about the lining. So they had a couple samples and they sent me one. And so I got the 4-inch Legacy shorts in the gingham, and I am so happy to say they fit so much better than the Dream Heather. Like I can tell they're a little bit thicker than normal Legacy shorts, but they're not that same restrictive, compressive, sausagey fit that I was getting from the Dream Heather. They fit so much better. I think the lining's just a little bit more lightweight. So these are 4-inch legacy shorts, which honestly is even more of a test because it's going right over the bulk of my thighs. And I do not feel sausaged in them. Even in the back, you can see they look totally normal. I would say they're honestly not even that compressive. I would say about a light to medium compression. They're just a little bit thicker. And you can definitely tell they're not squishing the glutes, which I'm very happy about, but they do just go out a little bit more instead of kind of like contouring the curves like a single layer of the fabric would. But yeah, if you're nervous about the lining, I would say don't be for the gingham, which is such a relief. So I'll double squat test these to see if they're more squat proof, but just a look at the lining. It is just a solid white lining and it's very thin, very stretchy. So I think they did a good job with these. This is a lined short that I would accept. All right, next we have the Rosa 5-inch shorts. So we've never had a Rosa short in 5 inches. We've had it in 4 inches. I could be wrong, but I looked in my own notes and I never got a Rosa 5-inch short. So now we have Legacy 4-inch, Legacy 6-inch, Rosa 5-inch, and then we're gonna get a Rosa 7-inch pocket short. So 4 different inseams for the short options. So Rosa is just a little bit more simple compared to Legacy. Simpler and higher rise. A Legacy short is a high rise. A Rosa short is an ultra high rise. So we have about a 10-inch rise on the size small here. Double thickness waistband, no top band, more delicate style seam. This is what I call a Rosa style seam just because I first saw it on the Rosa leggings, so I always refer to it as that. We have a soft V front, oval gusset here, no front seam, 5-inch inseam, slightly flared thigh opening to accommodate for the thick thigh girlies, slightly curved seams around the glutes in the back to be nice and flattering, tonal silicone branding. Quick comparison between the Rosa 5-inch shorts and the OG Rosa 4-inch shorts. First of all, it's about an inch smaller like everywhere. These fit a little bit more snug. So you'll definitely see extra fabric in my 4-inch Rosa shorts. Other than that, things are pretty similar, except for obviously these are 1 inch longer on the thighs. These are a little more snug on the thighs as well. And I forgot to mention, we actually have a pocket on the inside of the waistband. So here's that waistband pocket. It's mesh lined. You put a card, keys in here. I prefer not to have this kind of pocket and I just would never really put anything there because you would see it so obviously. And then a super quick little comparison between the Rosa 5-inch shorts and the Legacy 6-inch shorts. Obviously these are an inch shorter, but I just wanted to kind of highlight side by side the rise difference. I think the Legacy short rise just makes a little bit more sense for shorts to not be quite as high. And then obviously the details in the back, but they're the same material and everything. And the Rosa shorts also do not have any sort of side seam. So let's try these on. All right, here we have the 5-inch Rosa shorts. So these do fit a pretty good amount more snug than the original Rosa shorts. I would consider these more true to size, but now instead of being in between and sizing down, if you're in between in these, I would size up. We have that ultra high rise that goes above my natural waist. You can see it goes a good amount over the belly button. We do have an inner pocket, so you can kind of see a little bit of that outline here, but it's actually very minimal. We have no front seam. The 5-inch inseam actually fitting, I think that this is just a better balance. The 4-inch inseam with the ultra high rise was just like the balance wasn't there. This feels a little bit better. No seams at the side. We've got delicate, I call this like the Rosa style seams. I give these between a medium and a medium to high on the booty scale. If this was like 5 years ago, I'd probably put them a high on the booty scale, but we have just so many better things now that I just do feel like I may be getting a little bit compressed. These are about a medium compression, a little bit more now because of that sizing difference. And then you can see, I want to say these are thick thigh friendly, but I am getting some compression and squeezing in at the bottom of the thighs here. So just be aware. I feel like that's just going to help them stay down. But if you struggle with the thigh area, just know that these may compress them a little bit. So overall, I'm honestly just not a Rosa lover. I just feel like I'm Legacy over Rosa 100% of the time. And just feels like a little boring to me. It just doesn't really have all the flattering elements. I'm looking for a slightly lower rise at this point. So, but if you've been waiting for just a super simple short, now we have it. And we have a little pinto appearance. Some people don't even know you exist, buddy, because you don't show up in enough of my videos. So here he is. All right, Rosa pocket 7-inch shorts. So again, another new short. We have not seen a Rosa 7-inch pocket short. In Kara's 7 collection, we saw a Rosa 6-inch short that we'll compare those shortly, but very similar to the 5-inch Rosa shorts. We have an ultra high rise, double thickness waistband, no top band, no front seam, soft V front with the delicate Rosa seams, oval gusset here, 7-inch inseam with, again, a slightly flared thigh to accommodate for the thighs. Side pockets, just a simple side pocket design, slightly V contoured seams in the back to be flattering. The Rosa 7-inch pocket shorts specifically are slightly lower in the back. It doesn't make a huge difference when they're on, but the rise is just a little bit dipped down there. And super quick comparison between these and the Rosa 6-inch pocket shorts. Honestly, they are basically identical. They didn't make any changes to the pocket design or anything. Same rise. Obviously, these are just 1 inch longer and these do fit a little bit more snug. So I personally found the Rosa 6-inch shorts to be true to size. So these are just a little bit more compressive, a little bit more snug. Let's try them on. All right, here we are with the 7-inch Rosa pocket shorts. So these also have that ultra high rise and these do run a little bit more snug than the Rosa pocket 6-inch shorts that we had from Kara's launch. So just keep that in mind. I'm definitely getting snatched. I'm getting almost a medium to high compression with the combination of just like a little bit more snug of a fit. And then you add pockets and you always get a little bit more compression. So these are pretty good compression. That being said, if you're in between or you just don't really want a very snatching fit, this isn't like the tightest pair of shorts I've ever put on by any means, but in between, size up, ultra high rise above my natural waist. These shorts have no pocket on the waistband, no front seam, and a 7-inch inseam. I was worried that the thigh was going to flare too much, but it actually fits really well along the thighs. And I would definitely say that these are thick thigh friendly. They go beyond the bulk of the thigh, so really not cutting in anywhere. And they also are staying in place very well. I love that the pocket just comes down and tapers here. Just a really sleek look. Plenty of space for a phone and just like a very spacious pocket. So I love that. And then in the back, we have the seams that go above the glutes. Again, between a medium and a medium to high on the booty scale. They're definitely not hurting the glutes, but there just aren't really a lot of enhancing elements. Just a very simple short, but the seams do sit right along the hip bones, which is a really good place. And I forgot to mention this on the last short, but the nubre fabric with the thickness and a little bit of compression is really good for cellulite. So these are fairly cellulite friendly, especially in these darker colors. While I would prefer a performance short for running and maybe a slightly lower rise, I do think that these are a great short. I love how functional they are. And while these were probably made for more of like a gym short, I think these would be perfect for walks and even runs because I love 7 inches for running. It's my favorite length. The thighs can rub together and you know they're not going to ride up and it's just perfect. So I will definitely be getting use out of these shorts. All right, and then we basically have a new legging. I say basically because we saw these leggings in like a one-time Black Friday capsule, only in black. Never saw them again. I never even got to try them at that point, so I don't even know if there's any differences. But we have Legacy pocket leggings. It's about time. I'm glad that they brought the pocket leggings and shorts this launch because that's like one of my big questions. You guys are always wanting pockets. My mom would probably like these ones. I should recommend them to her. Anyways, Legacy pocket leggings. Nubre fabric, double thickness waistband, no front seam, slightly extended gusset, classic Legacy tri-seam detail in the back. And then we have some pockets, and the pockets have a bonded edge at the top to keep the pocket nice and flat. And it also makes the pocket nice and seamless on the side without having an actual stitch there. The pocket kind of tapers down the side and then splits into that classic Legacy detail that they have that goes down the side of the leg. And then this actually is not just the Legacy legging with pockets. There are actually some differences. So we'll do a side by side of the Legacy pocket leggings and the Legacy leggings. But the biggest difference is these are actually not quite an ultra high rise. In a size small for Buffbunny, an ultra high rise is usually about 10 inches, and that's what it is for the Legacy leggings. On these, I got about 9¼ inches, and these sit more at the small of my waist, not going above my natural waist. So these are actually more of a high rise. They might be approaching ultra high, but they are not as high as Legacy leggings. So that's the first big difference. The second big difference is these actually have a slight V front to the waistband. It's not just straight across like Legacy. So I actually really like these changes. I think they're really good. The back rise is also 1 inch shorter, so a little bit less for my long glute girlies. Still works for me. I have about like medium glutes, I would say. I get a lot of questions about short versus long glutes. It's been a discussion amongst the legging community recently. But basically, if you find yourself putting leggings on a lot and this waistband seam sits really high above your actual hip bones, you probably have short glutes. It's honestly not super common, but if I point out specifically that something is short glute friendly or not for the short glute girlies, just be aware of that. Anyways, let's try these on. So glad I get to have these in the rainwater blue because I already have a rainwater blue sports bra. Perfect. All right, guys, Legacy pocket leggings. Loving all the pockets in this launch because they're so often forgotten. And that's like my #1 question in my DMs is, what's a great pocket legging? What's a great pocket short? Everyone wants a 6-inch pocket short and no one will make one. So anyways, these are the Legacy pocket leggings. And again, they're a little bit lower rise than the Legacy leggings, which I'm here for. Hits me at the perfect spot. It's almost like a 1/4 of an inch above a classic high rise. My belly button is fully covered, but it doesn't go up beyond my natural waist. So depending on your height, it likely will, but it is a little bit lower than Legacy. I never tried the original Legacy pocket leggings, so I don't know if this is a change or anything, but again, slightly lower rise, and we also have a little bit of a dip down V in the front. So that's a little bit different as well. No front seam. Great feel to this nubre in this collection. It's just nice and dense, thick, good compression, good hold, just what nubre should be. Then we have our side pockets, and I really like how they're nice and high, so they're not wasting any pocket space by putting it like in the middle of the thigh or anything. And you have that little bonded edge seam to keep it nice and flat along the top. Throw your phone in there and it sits nicely flat in there. Lots of good space. The pocket does taper, and then they did a really nice thing with the design here where they had the pocket taper. They almost had these seams kind of like go weave in and out so that they still have that little Legacy split detail down the leg that the Legacy leggings have. So they still incorporated that detail. Then we go to the back. Legacy tri-seam detail sits right above the hips. It is a little bit lower in the back too, so a little bit more medium glute friendly. These are still more of a medium to long glute friendly legging. Legacy original, definitely long glute friendly, but these are a little bit shorter in the back rise. So these I would consider a medium to high in the booty scale. Love the tonal branding. Good cellulite coverage on this nubre as well. And then we do the full length view classic 26-inch inseam on these. I think these are a great pocket legging. I would say they're up there with the contour pocket legging. I think I might like that one just a little bit better, but if you're a Legacy lover and you wanted a pocket version, here we are. And just a note on sizing, true to size, I would say that these run just a little bit more compressive than regular Legacy leggings, again, because we have the addition of the pocket. I wouldn't stray from your normal size, but if you're in between, I would be choosing the size up, but these fit me perfectly. All right, moving on to fabric number 2, Dream Heather. So first we have the Dream Heather contrast sports bra. We've seen her before, but honestly, this is like a whole new bra. They made some changes. So first, let's go over some details. The Dream Heather material is a dense, marled material with a brushed feel to it. So kind of like Petula Bear, except it is a little bit more dense and a little bit more structured than Petula Bear. But here's an up close of the fabric. It's super soft and has a nice marled texture, or pattern, I guess. Pattern, texture. So Dream Heather contrast sports bra, we have a scooped neckline, contrast detailing that goes along the underbust, contrast straps that come into the back, and then the back band actually comes up a little bit and it almost comes into like a little point, a little star detail. You get a little V up here, a little V down here. Quick comparison from the old Dream Heather contrast to the new, very different. First of all, the neckline has completely changed. The old had a V neckline and now we have kind of more of a gentle scooping neckline. We have a little bit less coverage actually. Still good enough coverage for me, but there is less coverage. I think overall the fit is just refined a little bit more. There was a little bit of extra fabric in the original. And then the last big change is there's now a dart detail that comes up from the bottom of the bust on both sides that we did not have before. It was just smooth. So let's try these on. Okay, honestly, I was a little nervous for the changes to this bra, but it's actually fitting better. So I liked the V-neck before, but I'm not opposed to this kind of scoop design as long as it's not like a bandeau shape. That tends to really not flatter me, but this is flattering. So first of all, it's more true to size than before. It has a little bit more of a snug fit. So stick with your normal size. If you're in between sizes, you can kind of go either way. But before I said for smaller busts, size down. Now you probably don't have to. We have that piping along the bottom, kind of acts like a little elastic to keep the bust nice and secure. They added the little dart details. So keep in mind, if you don't like a dart detail, sometimes it can kind of look like a nip, but I think that these are like obvious enough that it is a dart detail. I'm gonna say medium coverage overall, just because it is a good scoop, but I'm confident that I'd be secure in it. And for the most part, we have the armpit area nice and covered here. So I think it's a really flattering fit in the front. Before, there definitely were some areas where it was just a little bit baggy. So really nice flattering fit. So medium coverage and about a medium support. It actually is, it's giving a good amount of support. The Dream Heather fabric just has a good amount of thickness to it. So it just kind of compresses nicely. And then we have the sides a little bit less gaping than before, but because it does kind of taper into that little point at the back, you do get a little pinching of the fabric. And then you have the back kind of all comes together in this little star, very flattering, scoops away from the lats. And one of the only times where I really like a kind of like a raised back look on a sports bra, but I found this one very flattering and very functional. I wish I had gotten this in the pink instead of the yellow, but I think that actually this would be a super cute combo if I wear the yellow top with the pink bottoms. So I'm probably gonna do that just because the yellow bottoms are kind of unwearable. So to go with that stunning yellow sports bra, we have the Dream Heather contrast shorts. So we have not had Dream Heather contrast shorts before. So similar similar to the Dream Heather contrast leggings that we will chat about in a second. We have a true wrap waist with a slight V. And at the top, it's not really a top band, but you do have the contrast fabric detail stitched the top. So you can get a little bit more compression at the top there. Doesn't cut in as much as like a top elastic, but there is a little extra fabric at the top. So be warned. No front seam. They've now switched to a triangle gusset on the Dream Heather bottoms. We do have a side seam here. And then in the back, we have slightly curved seams that go right around the glutes, as well as an elastic up the back rise to help separate the cheeks a little bit, give a little bit more flattering booty scale action in the back. These are said to be a 6-inch inseam. I measured a 6.5-inch inseam, and these are only coming in yellow, and they decided to line these. And this is why I was nervous about the legacy shorts, the gingham lining, because the lining on this one, guys, it's not it. I already have a big rant about them in my try on, but Buffbunny had actually sent these to me to try, and I was like, no ma'am, no ma'am, they're just really tight. So let's get into the try on. I already rant about this enough. I mean, I gotta show you what we're working with here. So it's either this, which is like, okay, it's actually not as bad as it was a second ago. These are our two options for how to wear the shorts. Either I can wear it like this and my thighs are still breathing a little bit, but this is how it looks in the back, which is clearly not okay. Or we actually bring them up to like where they should be on the rise. Okay, and this is a much more comfortable place on the rise, but my thighs like actually feel like there's a tourniquet around them. This is the tightest seam I've ever had on my thighs. And these are just not it, guys. I'm just very bummed about these. Lining the shorts is just not the solution. I have never liked a lined short. First of all, it's summer. Why do I want 2 thick layers of fabric on me? Second of all, it always makes the fabric too compressive and just absolutely pancakes your glutes. Like Lululemon does this with some of their aligned colors because they're also B2 sheer. It's just like, I can't get behind a lined legging. It just like never works. For anyone who is waiting for a yellow short, I'm really sorry. I cannot wait to get these off because I actually feel like my thigh is dying. So similar structure to the leggings. These do hit maybe just like a teeny bit lower just because of the double thickness of the fabric. It's just not extending quite the same on the rise, but I would still consider them a high rise. They just go to kind of more of a mid rise in the front with the cross waist. High compression throughout the leg. They're not true to size. They definitely run small, especially in the thigh area, but if you size up too much, it may be gaping in the waist because the waistband actually is not lined. It just has a double thickness of the Dream Heather fabric, which is how a waistband normally is. So I worry if I size up that the waistband would be too big. So really, I just don't recommend these shorts. But if you had to try them, I would be sizing up. There is a seam along the side here, and then we have a little sausage thigh situation in the back here. They also are kind of creating this little like double butt on a lot of people just because there's so much thickness to the fabric that it just kind of wrinkles. So while it does hide cellulite because it's nice and thick, it just is not super flattering in the back. I'm gonna go with a medium on the booty scale. Could it be worse? Yes. You don't really get a lot of action of the back rise elastic there because the fabric is so thick. It just, there's a lot for it to work against. And then the seams do sit a little bit low for me. So these are definitely more of a medium to shorter glute friendly short here compared to the regular Dream Heather shorts, which are more long glute friendly. So I measured a 6.5-inch inseam, but just with everything sitting, it's just a little bit shorter than that. Okay, yeah, here you can kind of see that little double thigh indent there. So yep, I really wanted yellow shorts, guys. You know we did, but today's not the day for yellow shorts, unfortunately. And the worst part is they're still not squat proof. Like, what was the point? They're totally acceptable for me, but I could see my pattern underwear underneath them. So it's like, all the lining for what? I'm done ranting. While we're here talking about shorts, we have the Dream Heather 7-inch shorts. So I have reviewed these recently, except the only color that the Dream Heather 7-inch shorts is coming in is the Sunbeam Heather, and it is going to be lined. I guess I didn't really realize that, and I didn't really want 2 pairs of the yellow lined shorts, but I'll insert my little try on of the 7-inch Dream Heather shorts and review them as I've had them before with the single layer of fabric. So these are a high rise, tapered waistband with a soft V front, no front seam, 7-inch inseam, triangle gusset, and a slightly flared thigh opening. And then in the back, you have those curved seams with the hidden elastic up the back rise. Before I was getting about a medium compression, but again, these only come in the yellow. And honestly, I just wouldn't really recommend getting the Dream Heather in the yellow. It's just way too tight and just fits really uncomfortably and just doesn't look super cute. So try them at your own risk. If you must, maybe get a size up, but just know that they won't look exactly like these ones that I'm trying. All right, quickly, let's chat about the Dream Heather contrast leggings. Very similar to the shorts, except these do not have the lining, so they fit so much better. true wrap waist detail with a slight V front, no front seam, triangle gusset, which is new, about a 26.5-inch inseam. And then in the back, we have slightly curved seams with that elastic up the back rise, made of that marled Dream Heather fabric. It's nice and soft. On the PDF, they were saying that these were like short girl friendly, that they like lowered the rise and everything. I did compare the new Dream Heather contrast to the old, and I measured. These new ones are actually a little bit higher in the rise. Overall, they actually fit quite similarly, so do a little side by side, but the main difference is they actually increased this front rise below the waistband. So not the waistband, but this part. And that allowed there to be a little bit less crotch tension, because there was a little crotch tension happening in these originally, especially with that hidden scrunch. Sometimes they just need to give a little bit more space here to relieve that. So I do get less tension in these. They also slightly increased the back rise just a little bit. Again, they're both still a high rise legging, but they actually did increase it a little bit. Lastly, they used to have an oval gusset and now they have a triangle gusset. So let's try these on. All right, here are the Dream Heather contrast leggings. And I still need to try on the other pair, but I will have already done my comparison, but they fit pretty similarly to before. They called them like a hip rise. These still feel like a solid high rise to me. They do dip down a little bit at the front to show the belly button, but the sides and the back still hit at the small of my waist. And if they hit at the small of mine with my long torso, I can confidently say these are still just a traditional high rise hitting at the small of the waist. So we have the contrast detailing. It can get a little bit compressive at the top, but it doesn't squeeze like a normal elastic. Cross waist with a little dip down in the front there. No front seam, but something I noticed with all of the Dream Heather materials that's just kind of becoming a thing with Dream Heather is I don't get any camel. I don't even get any tension in these, any crotch tension. So no traditional camel toe, but it doesn't sit quite right in the crotch area. And you definitely get more Barbie crotch than any other Buffbunny leggings. So I don't really know why that's happening. They did switch the gusset up with this launch to a triangle gusset, but it's still kind of happening. It's still kind of the same. So it's not to the point where I wouldn't wear it to the gym. I just want to point that out in case you guys are conscious of that. Medium compression overall. It's got a nice like medium thickness to it. We do have a seam up the side, and then in the back we have the seams. They sit right over the glutes. I would consider these like medium glute friendly, not too long, not too short. We do have the hidden elastic up the back rise. So these are a solid medium to high in the booty scale. You get a little bit of cellulite coverage, but with these lighter colors, it's not going to be full cellulite coverage, but the fabric does have a little marl to it to kind of disguise some. And then sweat will show a little bit on these, but with that marl to the fabric, it shows a little bit less. So during my gym workouts, I didn't notice any sweat. These aren't something I would run in, but if I was running in them, I definitely would see sweat. True to size, in between, size up, just because it can be a little bit more compressive with the waist area. And then full length view, these are about a 27-inch inseam, I believe. The inseam will be at the screen on the end. I think they're actually 26.5. They're supposed to be 26, but I measured a 26.5 again. Good length on me. And yeah, I like these leggings. The one thing I'd fix is just the little crotch, Barbie crotch area. Then lastly, for the Dream Heather, we have the Dream Heather tank. This is made of the Dream Heather fabric. It has a high neck with these corset style seam details. They're kind of those Rosa style seams, very delicate and small. Scooping detail in the back. We do have a full shelf liner that goes 360 around the inside of the bra with an underbust elastic and removable cups. And this is a waist length top, and unfortunately it has the flare. They have still not gotten rid of the flare. I hear that they are working on it, and at some point in the future, there will be no more flares. So let's try this on. This is how I feel wearing this top. I put this on fully with intent to wear this to the gym this morning. And like I've worn some of the Buffbunny like flared waist tops to the gym, like the highlight nubre crop that wasn't really a crop. Like that one I wore, it had the flare, but everything else was chef's kiss, right? Nothing is right on this top. And I just truly don't understand. Such a bummer, because I've been waiting. They just keep launching these waist length tops and I'm like, how perfect. That's my ideal length top, right? Not a single one has been good. They are aware of the flared waist issue and they say that they're fixing it. But my question is like when? Because we started having this issue like first launch of the year. It was like January. It's June. Like we've just missed out on so many great tops. That's my frustration. Like these tops could be so good. Yeah, I mean, this does work for a very small subset of people if you're very short and have just like very little torso. But honestly, even some of the shorter torso girlies in the Buffbunny group chat, they still don't like these. So anyways, we're done ranting. But first of all, when I first put this on, I was like, am I wearing this backwards? Because I'm all for like a little tapered shoulder action here to show off the delts, but this actually feels like I'm wearing it backwards and I'm not. Just a very interesting design up at the neck. It's actually coming up a little too high. I don't like when things actually come up onto my neck. I like when they are like high neck, but they come up to like the collarbone. This actually is coming up onto the neck to the point where it does feel like it's choking me a little bit. Scoops in, but just just like kind of is ill-fitting. And the cup pads, they just feel like they sit a little bit too low. I had to like readjust the bra, but then it just kind of pulls everything up. There is a little seam here to prevent the cup pads from going up too high, but it is kind of visible in some angles, especially in the yellow. Some girls were noticing that they were just seeing that. Oh, Peach, oh, little girl, is it lunchtime? I'm trying my best to make both cats have appearances in all videos because everyone loves you guys. Yeah. We'll do lunch soon, okay? We'll do lunch soon. Dream Heather doesn't collect as much pet fur as Nubre, but it's still not like a sleek performance fabric that's gonna brush pet fur off. Anyways, what was I saying? Some people did notice that little seam there. We do have a full built-in bra with shelf liner and goes all the way around the back. It's tacked down at the side here, but it is like fully detachable shelf liner there. The length is a waist length, so it does hit the smallest point of my waist, but it's supposed to kind of be like that. You know, if it was there, that's what it's supposed to be. True to size, I would go with your bra size. If you think you have some room to size down in the bra, there may be a little room, I would recommend sizing down just to get rid of some of the flare and just kind of looseness at the bottom here. We do have some classic Buffbunny like corset style slimming seams that go in the front here. And then in the back, it is a little scoop neck. I think it's very cute, very flattering. It does come up a little high though in the armpit area, so just keep that in mind. I feel like that in the front too. This whole thing just like, does not fit well. And we have those little seams down the back here as well. So yeah, I just couldn't wear this to the gym today. Just the choking, the flaring, it's just all sorts of wrong. A couple flop items in this launch that I just didn't expect. All right, next we're moving into our airbrush pieces. We do have a few of these. Starting out with the Airbrush Hourglass Sports Bra. You may recognize this if you're an OG Buffbunny girly as the Transcend Sports Bra, but it is different. Anyways, we have the Airbrush fabric, which is a 75% nylon, 25% spandex, and it is a matte performance material. So it doesn't have that sleek shine feel to it, but it still has that slick, cool to the touch feeling, and is really good with pet fur, good for performance activities, very sweat wicking. Honestly, not my favorite of the performance materials. I do like that it's not really shiny and cheap looking though. So first of all, we have this cute contrast detail. This also comes in indigo rainwater, and then I think black and white as well, but I thought this was like kind of cute and fun. Pink and red, don't often see this. So we have the square neckline, contrast detailing, kind of contours the under bust. This is a long line bra, tank straps, and then you get this fun back design. It has this kind of open back design, and then we have two straps that go up and then two straps that kind of go out into this almost like a Monarch sports bra moment, if you remember the Monarch bra. All right, and I do have the OG Transcend Sports Bra. So quick comparison. First of all, the airbrush material, it is better than whatever material this was. This one, I never really loved the performance fabric. Just over time, this fabric has not really held up, and airbrush is a lot more snag resistant, just is holding up better over time. The new Airbrush Hourglass Sports Bra is more true to size. I just feel a little bit more supported, a little bit more compressed. There is also a slight difference in the stitching design at the side, but it's not super noticeable. And then in the back on the old Transcend Sports Bra, the two little straps came in to attach almost to the front of the bra, and they ended up just kind of like sagging down and not really holding their shape. So they actually decided just to sew them in right where they go behind there. So they're actually sewn right there. So these straps just stay put better and just look a little bit more polished. So let's try this on. All right, you guys, here is the sports bra. I like this better than the sports bra we had in the Vita collection for the performance set. This one, I'm getting ahead of myself. I could actually run in. Anyways, so true to size, large bust friendly, full coverage. It does have a little scoop away from the neckline here, but absolutely zero cleavage and almost a little too much into the armpits. So definitely no side boob, no armpit showing, but over time, I just feel like it could have been dropped away from the armpit just a hair because it is like a little bit uncomfortable in there. Again, still wearable, and I didn't get any chafing from my run, but depends how far my run would be. Like I did 3 miles, so maybe if I was doing something quite a bit longer, I would get some chafing. Anyways, Perform fabric, beautiful contrast stitch detailing. I love the red and pink. It's giving Valentine's Day, but like in the cutest way. Long line, and it's nice and fitted along the bottom band here. If you're in between sizes, I think you could really go either way. If you really want to be compressed, size down. If you don't want to be too squeezed, size up. But there's nowhere where it's really like digging into me anywhere. I love the tank straps. Cup pads sit nicely. And then the back is just so fun. It reminds me of the Buffbunny Monarch bra. I literally just saw Heidi this weekend. I was like, bring back the Monarch bra. That was like my favorite bra ever. It was like my first sports bra where I was like, wow, this is like the most stunning design on a sports bra. So fingers crossed if we get Monarch back without the side boob version, because there was like 2 versions of that. Anyways, the back of this one is just so fun. It's open, strappy, cute. We have some straps that go on the outside, straps that go on the inside. Nothing bothers me in the back here. Anyways, in terms of support, I definitely still get jiggling. It's about a medium to high support. I did go on a run in this, as I said, and I didn't have any pain at the end of my run, like when I ran in, is it the Solar Sports Bra? I think maybe Solar Sports Bra from Vita. That one, my girls were hurting at the end of the run. This one, I was not hurting, but I wouldn't be choosing this sports bra unless I had a matching set, if that makes sense. I do prefer sports bras for running that have a little adjustability to the straps so I can really like lift the girls up and make sure they don't move. But I would still consider this mostly running approved. Obviously, if you have even larger of a bust than I do, maybe don't run in it, but you know that if that's your case. So anyways, I think it's super cute. I'm glad they brought back this design. I feel like this is perfect for like a little running set. For our performance legging, we have the Airbrush hourglass leggings made of that same Airbrush fabric. These are a high-rise contrast stitch detail. We have that kind of Buffbunny stitching that comes up here like they like to do with the contour leggings. Triangle gusset on this one. This one's also a 29-inch inseam. More contrast stitching down the side of the leg, and then in the back we have the tonal silicone branding. More of that stitching up the back, contouring glute seams. They decided to not make the back rise seam the contrast stitch, which I think was a good choice, because it can kind of look whale taily, but this is also kind of giving heart booty, like those old heart booty leggings. I still like these. Anyways, these are kind of an update to the old Transcend leggings. Again, different fabric. This old fabric gave very low compression and just kind of too slippery and not super durable. I haven't really found myself reaching for these leggings. These don't really feel like a running legging either. I have run in these and I do like running in them. I will compare these two side by side, but honestly, it's like a totally different legging. Really, there's not much of a point. The old Transcend leggings are an ultra high rise, like super, super high. Ran a little bit bigger. The new leggings have just a nice high rise hit right at the small of the waist. Then some differences in the stitching. So the old Transcend leggings didn't have the stitching that went up the back waistband, and it also had the contrast stitching up the back rise that the new ones do not have. So they're very different. If you didn't like the Transcend leggings, you could still like these. But if you love the Transcend leggings, these are very different. So let's try them on. All right, these are officially the first Airbrush leggings that are not suffocating me. Normally, they just make them so tight, but these fit so much better. They're not like squeezing me anywhere, but I did already take these out on a run and they did not move at all. They stuck to me the whole time. They did not slide down, so they are running approved. They did show some sweat, but I did a running legging review and every single one, except for one, showed sweat. So they're all gonna show sweat. It's just a matter of, does it dry? Does it feel cool? And these leggings do feel sweat wicking in the way that sweat moves through them quickly and doesn't make you feel hot. So I don't mind showing a little sweat when I run, even though it's all around my crotch, but we don't care. I worked hard, okay? It's fine. Anyways, the rise. These are a nice high rise hit right at the small of the waist. It does feel like it comes down a teeny bit at the front here. I do show a little bit of belly button, but not very much. No front seam, contrast stitch detailing. I'm just now having the realization that these remind me of those old like Gymshark Power Ranger suits, but just like a little bit more elevated. I feel like this contrast stitching is coming back. This reminds me of something that Aloe has been doing recently, especially in this colorway. So I love that the contrast stitch detailing adds just like a little bit of curves. True to size, these again fit much more true to size than other Airbrush leggings. Most of them I kind of recommended sizing up. These, if you're in between, you really could go either way. They do feel a little snug on the waist, but they're not squeezing me. Then we see that stitch detailing kind of coming in on the sides, and then in the back, stitch detailing around the glutes there, but they took away the contrast stitching that goes up the back, which makes this look a little bit less whale taily, you know, just kind of focuses on the glute seams and around. And yeah, I think that was a good choice to make this seam specifically not be a contrast. So overall compression on these leggings, again, because they're not super tight on me, I'm getting about a medium compression. In the past, Airbrush material has been more of a medium to high, but that's just because they've been more of a snug fit. You don't get a lot of cellulite coverage on these because the fabric is on the thinner side, but you do get compressed a little bit, so a little bit of cellulite coverage. Right, looking at the full length view, basically are almost full length on me, right above the ankle. So yeah, I love to see an actual functional running set from Buffbunny. I would really like to see some running sets with some functional pockets, some more things going on, but I think we're moving in the right direction at least. Our last Airbrush piece is the Story Sports Bra. Cute little layered moment. So we have the Airbrush fabric. So this is that matte performance material. And then we have this cute little layered design, and it actually is like 2 layers of the sports bra. The bottom bra is the slightly larger one that shows through that has the cup pads. And then it's tacked down at the side so they don't move. And then it also is separate at the back. a classic little cami sports bra shape, and then we have spaghetti straps, and they are both adjustable. And you just kind of get this layered sports bra look that just is cute. You can either match this with the rainwater blue, the indigo, and it also comes in a couple other colors. So let's try it on. All right, here we are with the Story sports bra. I've been dying to try a little layered sports bra moment. This one is so cute. So first of all, true to size. If you're in between, if you're a smaller cup size, you could probably go down just because when I bring my arms together, teeny bit of gaping here. So you might get that if you're a smaller cup size, especially. Larger cup sizes, probably size up. You just do get 2 layers of compression with this little sports bra with a little double layer here. Like I was saying, it is completely like a double layer moment. It's not like a faux double layer, like they're basically just tacked down at the sides here so they don't move. You have a little elastic right at the bottom of this one, but you also have a little seam at the bottom of the top one. This one is not an elastic though, so it does kind of keep you contained under this one, but this one is the one with like the elastic, and the cup pads are in the inner sports bra. Kind of a classic short line cami shape. In terms of coverage, honestly, medium to high coverage. Great armpit coverage, just a little scoop around the front here for a little peep cleavage, but still mostly covered. And support is about a medium support. Wouldn't go running in this, but it's good support for day to day. We do have those double straps, and both of the straps are adjustable, which is great. And then we have that Buffbunny logo in the back there. Does scoop away from the lats a little bit here. And yeah, I think this one is a fun design. I was worried that the layers would like slip over each other because this is made of a performance material, but they're staying in place well, and I haven't had any issues so far. So I think it's cute. All right, next, kind of in its own category, we have the Sporty Story dress. So you guys know I love an active dress. This dress is made of a 77% polyester, 23% spandex. So it's not nubre. It almost feels like the material that a jacket would be made out of. It's brushed to the touch, but it has a little bit more structure to it. Here's an up close of that fabric. It is brushed, it is soft, but it just is a little bit more shape. So we have the contrast piping detail, very sporty. Scooped neckline with tank straps. Then in the back, you have this cute crisscross strap detail. And this part is sewn together so the straps don't move around too much. Then you get this kind of fit and flare design. So it's very fitted along the top. Then in the natural waist, you have about a 1-inch elastic that goes all the way around. And this is a real elastic. And then you have this nice little circle skirt. Some details on the inside. They have cup pads, but there's no underbust elastic. Surprisingly, this still did give me a good amount of support. So we'll get into that in the try on. And then we do have an inner bodysuit with no front seam, and the inner bodysuit is a 5-inch inseam. So that's nice to have. 2 pockets on the inside as well. And then this only comes in one length, and it is actually the same length as the bend and snap dress. You guys are gonna want me to choose between this or the bend and snap dress. Honestly, it just depends on your vibe. Quick comparison between Sporty Story dress and bend and snap. Bend and snap is made of the Perform fabric, so it is a sleek performance material. We have adjustable straps. Bend and snap also has an underbust elastic, so you get a little bit more underbust support there. And bend and snap also has these little corset seam details that go from the bust to the skirt, but the actual skirt shape and length and everything is the same between the two. Bend and snap also has a 4-inch inseam instead of a 5-inch inseam, which the Sporty dress has. And then honestly, this one just looks pretty different. It has the elastic, it has the cutout. So yeah, honestly, I like both of them a lot. So let's try this on. Okay guys, I had my doubts about this one because I was like, how is this gonna beat my bend and snap? Spoiler, I still don't think it does, but I love it. I love it. Look how fun, cute. They really did a great job with this one. So first of all, I was not expecting there to be really any bra support or lift or anything because of the lack of the underbust elastic. But honestly, I still feel supported. I still prefer to have an underbust elastic. That's again one point to the bend and snap. I had to fight for that underbust elastic on my dress. I said it must be there, and they made it happen. So I was a little bummed to see they didn't have it on this one, but because this fabric has so much structure to it and we have 2 layers in the bust area, I actually am pretty supported. Up at the top, about a medium coverage here, a little scooping neckline, but no falling out of it, and a little scoop away from the armpit, but I wouldn't consider there to be any side boob. My girls are in place. They're not sagging down. They actually feel lifted, which normally in like a bodysuit, I wouldn't actually feel that way. Normally I feel very like pressed down. I actually don't feel that way. I feel more lifted in this. So I really like that. I love the tank straps. I love the contrast piping detail. With the addition of the cutout here that kind of comes up into the front area, you get this like hourglass effect. The fit and flare is a little bit more dramatic looking than bend and snap, but it actually is the same silhouette of the skirt. The skirts have the same amount of volume just because it's a lot more snug on the top area here. It just looks a little bit different, but you still have that really nice movement to the skirt that I love. You can see where the seam ends on the top here, but it doesn't bother me. Again, no elastic there. And then we have the elastic on the waist, which if you do carry more weight in your waist, that could kind of dig into you. So I would be careful of that. Sorry, I had to change my camera battery because I can never get through an entire Buffbunny review on one charge of my camera. I've been filming for like 4 hours, no, like 5 hours. 5 hours. Anyways, medium coverage. The support is also about a medium. I might say medium to high, but I'm gonna stick with medium. True to size. If anything, it runs a little bit on the snug side. So if you're a little bit bigger on the top or bottom, if you're in between sizes for any of them, I would go with the larger size. The elastic hits right at the waist. And then in the back, we have this cute little crisscross strappy moment. Nothing cuts in anywhere. It's all very comfortable. But like I was saying before my camera battery died, the one place I could see you getting some digging in is this elastic. This is a true elastic at your true waist. So just be aware of that. And then again, those little cutout details. Makes it nice and breezy. Someone asked if I could go to the bathroom like easy peasy style, like just pull that down. But I'm gonna be so honest with you guys. Every time I have a bodysuit, listen, I was a dancer, we had leotards, unitards, just pull them to the side. I never take off my dress anymore to go to the bathroom. So just believe in yourself because that's what I do and it works. Anyways, because this material has a good amount of structure to it, the skirt is really giving structured circle skirt. Super cute. It only comes in one length, and some of the shorter girlies at the event yesterday where we were all wearing these dresses, it was a little bit longer. So this is going to be a little more of a tall girl friendly dress. Personally, I'm very happy about it. And when I lean over here, I don't show anything. And then we go to the inside, full bodysuit on the inside with no front seam. Very spacious pockets here. They're super wide. You can fit a lot into these pockets, and the inseam on the inner shorts is 5 inches. I actually prefer the 5-inch here compared to the 4-inch on my bend and snap dress. It just stays put a little bit better. These stayed put really well. I didn't even get any rolling up or anything, so really like that. A little squeeze at the bottom of the thigh there, but again, it's under the dress and I kind of like that. It just kind of keeps it staying in place. So yeah, the dress, definitely tall girl friendly, not feeling any tension in the torso. It's long enough. I say it's best for medium to taller girlies, but you know, even Heidi was wearing it yesterday and she looked cute. So I love the dress, definitely a top pick. You guys know I love a cute active dress. All right, we have made our way into lounge. We have the Story Cloud pullover. First time we've seen cloud in a while. So if you guys don't remember the cloud fabric, this is probably my favorite of the Buffbunny lounge fabrics. It's a 95% cotton, 5% spandex. The outside just has a classic cotton feel, but the inside is a brushed soft fleece, and this is a very stretchy fabric. About a mid-weight. The Story Cloud pullover is a crew neck with a drop shoulder and very oversized sleeves, elasticated cuffs, and it has kind of this like poofy almost. I have no other way to describe this. She's oversized and then she's cinched at the bottom. A quick comparison between Story Cloud pullover and the original Cloud pullover. The original Cloud pullover is just a more classic sweatshirt shape. I honestly just don't love the shape too much though. It's a little bit too tight in some areas, and that is also a little bit longer. The new Story Cloud pullover is a very different design and much more of an oversized kind of slouchier fit. So let's try this on. Okay, I was not expecting the level of sleeve that we have going on here. It reminds me of the Pop Flex, I guess they call it Cloud too. Everyone has something named Cloud. No surprise there. But anyways, this reminds me of those Pop Flex hoodies that just have so much sleeve. We definitely have like a poofy moment, a drop shoulder, almost a little Batwing situation. So lots of sleeve. I think I could do with a little bit less sleeve, but I think it kind of works as like a little short set together. Again, this does come in like mini version if you have kids too, which I think is super cute. Fun to have a little matchy moment, but I do like the body area of this a lot better. It has that little cinched waist there that it's not tight at all, but it allows us to just kind of sit at like the hip area. So this is kind of a mid to high hip fit. If you raise your arms, you will show a little bit, but it just kind of settles right down. And that just allows it to kind of sit there and give your body some separation. I feel like with the original sweatshirt, it just like, I don't know, you guys know, I don't like my sweatshirts or jackets or anything to really go much beyond my hip area, because then it just like loses my whole upper body shape. So it does kind of have that little poofing out, oversized to fit, but I wouldn't size down too much or else the bottom band is going to be too snug. So I do think it's true to size for this like very poofy oversized fit. If you're in between, you could probably size down, but I wouldn't size down more than one size. Sleeves are nice and long. They have these nice cuffs, and then we still have that Buffbunny cursive embroidery Buffbunny collection on the left sleeve. Then the back is very simple here, not too much detail going on. Yes, pretty dramatic drop shoulder. It goes almost all the way to my elbow. So let me know what you guys think of the fit. My favorite Cloud fit is still the Boyfriend Cloud collection. That was just the best. It was the perfect amount of oversized. Boyfriend Cloud, still my #1 favorite loungewear from Buffbunny, I think. So then we have the Story Cloud shorts. So we have seen a pair of Cloud shorts that I am wearing right now, But again, these are a totally different design. We have an elastic waistband made of that cloud fabric, 4-inch inseam on the shorts. High to ultra high rise, we have side pockets, and then a drawstring on the inside of the shorts. Quick comparison between these and the OG cloud shorts. OG cloud shorts were honestly very tight. These are much more of a relaxed fit. The OG was only a 2-inch inseam. This is a 4-inch. These also just have a simple B embroidery instead of a Buffbunny collection in the script logo. And the original ones didn't even have any pockets. And the original ones also did not have a true sewn hem. It was a raw cut hem, and they rolled, which made the inseam even shorter. So these are honestly itty bitty. My cheeks are out. So I like these new ones. Let's try them on. All right, we got the cloud shorts. I am so excited that they're finally doing a little bit better of a fit for the cloud shorts. The original cloud shorts, honestly, my cheeks were hanging out of them. So while these, I feel like they didn't need to make it more oversized and increase the length so much at once. Like if these were just like maybe like 3 inches or maybe a little bit less oversized, they are just like a little bit balloony, but I'm just glad to have them. I don't know, maybe I'm being dramatic. Do these look weird or do they look okay? I definitely feel a lot more comfortable in them than the original cloud shorts. So we have basically, honestly, an ultra high rise, high to ultra high. They kind of sit right at the high rise point, the small of your waist, but you can kind of pull them up a little bit more if you want. We have an elastic waistband, fits very well, just kind of skims the body but isn't squeezing me. And then we also have an internal drawstring here, so I don't really need to tie it because the waistband is good enough. We finally have some side pockets. Honestly, it was a crime to not have pockets in the last one. I always want pockets in my home lounge stuff because I just want to like throw my phone in my pocket, you know, and not have to like carry it around because, you know, I do have to go everywhere with my phone because I am addicted to my phone. It's okay, I'm working on it. And then in the back, just very simple. Again, cheeks are not showing. Gets pretty good coverage here. And again, it has that oversized fit. Because the fabric has some structure to it, it's not like a loose, flowy, oversized fit. It is a little bit more structured. So I really like them. I will definitely get use out of them. I wish we had like a little cloud tank or something to go with them because I love like a short tank moment instead of like a sweatshirt just because it's summer. But yeah, I love the cloud, soft exterior, fuzzy interior, lots of stretch. And then we also have our first Buffbunny kids clothes. We have a mini cloud pullover and mini cloud shorts, and I don't have any kids that would try these on. So I don't think Pinto would be super excited about the idea of trying on clothes. He didn't really love it last time when I made him try the Buffbunny pup sweatshirt. Anyways, we have the mini cloud pullover. It's still made of a cotton spandex, but it's supposed to be a slightly more lightweight version of the cloud. Just a classic crew neck sweatshirt, relaxed shape, ribbed cuffs. Same with the mini cloud shorts, same thing, slightly lighter weight fabric. The mini cloud shorts have an external drawstring instead of an internal drawstring like the adult version. And then I'll post a little screenshot of the child sizing. Again, I don't have kids, so I don't know anything about sizes like this, but it goes from extra, extra small, which is an 18 months, to XXL, which is a child size 14. So yeah, I thought that was cute that they decided to come out with a little kids set too. On to the last few clothing pieces. We have the Nimbus ribbed tee. Finally, a full length top that actually fits well. It does have a little flare here, but that's because this is a full length top. So I believe this is the first time we've seen the Nimbus rib. It sounds somewhat familiar, but I don't really know what else I've seen the Nimbus rib. So this is a crew neck tee with a body skimming full length fit, and it's in the Nimbus rib fabric, which is a lensing modal, which I'd never heard of, but I think it's some sort of sustainable modal fabric. 6% spandex. Here is the ribbed material. It is very lightweight, cool to the touch, almost has some good flow to it, and really good stretch. It's the same length as the Halo tee, the full length tee, but it doesn't have those little body contour seam details. This one's a lot simpler. So let's try it on. All right, the Nimbus ribbed tee. Love the material. It just feels so lightweight, super, super stretchy, cool to the touch. And what's great about this compared to the Halo fabric is I am wearing the double layer Story sportswear underneath, which is a navy blue, and you can't even see it. Nice and opaque. So if you loved the shape of the Halo tops, but you just wanted a little bit more opacity, probably a little more sweat proofness as well, we will check, but this is the one for you. It still feels lightweight. Hopefully I'm not wearing this backwards. Okay, so I'd consider this a body skimming fit. I do have a little bit of looseness at the bottom here, but it's not that awkward waist flare that we got with the Dream Heather tank. This is a much more normal fit. I think if you really do want a skin tight fit, you could size down, but I'm happy with the size small here. In terms of the length, I would consider this like a mid-hip length. It's going over the top of my hips, definitely full coverage. Even with a mid-rise legging, you should be fully covered here. Short sleeves, crew neck, just good body contouring fit. And then very simple in the back. It doesn't have any like you know, kind of hourglass seams like the halo tees have. It's just a little bit more simple, but I love it. And if this was a halo tee, I would already be seeing sweat, and I'm not yet seeing sweat on this one, but like I did my baby tee review a while ago, I'm gonna get like a little piece of cotton, so we'll do a little sweat test, so I'll be back. Okay, so I have a little cotton with some water on it. Just kind of press it through. And so yeah, definitely going to show sweat, but I can tell based on the test, it's gonna take a lot more sweat for it to start showing through because the fabric just has a little bit more thickness to it. So I think this is a great material. All right, then there are two cotton tees. We have the Match short sleeve tee and then the Story short sleeve tee. They're both kind of tennis themed, tennis pickleball. Technically they used tennis rackets. So these are 100% cotton tee, classic tee fit. They come in a size small to 3XL. Crew neck and full over the hip length. In these styles of tees, I do tend to size up to a medium or large just for kind of that oversized, relaxed fit, but it's just a classic unisex tee fit. All right, you guys, we made it to accessories. I don't know how I'm doing this all in one day. It's been a long week and a long weekend. So let's keep going. Accessory number one, we have the water bottle sleeve. This was not available in time for PR, nor do I really feel like I'd use this. I don't know, it's like dressing up your backpack. Have you seen those like consumerism final boss TikToks where people are like packing their Stanley cup for the day with like a little backpack? They like put stuff in it. This is like kind of that, but like not to that extreme, because those are like, honestly, they must be rage bait. They're like so funny. Anyways, I believe the concept of this water bottle sleeve, I honestly don't even really understand. I believe you kind of Velcro it on to your water bottle. And then there's two zippered pockets. There's a main pocket and then there's like a little mini front pocket. I'll put the dimensions on the screen. And then it actually comes with a strap so that you're kind of turning your water bottle into a purse. So like, I kind of get it because it is hard to hold your water bottle and a small purse. So why not just like hold them all in one? So I think that I would be able to fit a phone. And there's also a built-in card slots and a key clip, and it fits most water bottle sizes. It'll fit like your Stanleys, your Brewmates, your Hydro Jugs. Accessory number two, we have the ultimate pocket duffel. She is back. This actually is my gym bag and I'll grab it, but I need to do it another day because I'm tired. But the most important thing, we have some updates to this bag because it needed some updates. First of all, the front flap pocket was not a pocket before. If you put stuff in, it just came right out the bottom. So they actually fixed it. I saw one of the bags. They actually had one of the duffels at the event I went to yesterday, and I literally zoomed right over to it and checked to make sure that it was actually a real pocket, and it is this time, which makes me want it now because all I want is for that to be a pocket, and on mine it's not. I considered sewing it myself, just sewing it closed, but that's fixed. And they also fixed the zipper because some people were finding it to get a little bit stuck before, so they upgraded the hardware on that as well. But it's a really spacious gym bag. I've been using it as my gym bag ever since I got it, and I really like it. Some final accessories. We have the 3-pack half crew socks. Super cute. Comes in an extra small and a medium large. I got the extra smalls. They're pretty stretchy. Nice and cushioned. Half crew length is my favorite. They're not overwhelmingly long, and you get to kind of incorporate some of the little contrast color details, which is really fun. Then we have nubre scrunchies in basically every color for my scrunchie lovers. And we have our first Buffbunny running belt. Guys, this makes me hopeful. Buffbunny, they're starting to create running stuff. And when Buffbunny does running stuff, it just has so much potential. Anyways, it comes in some cute colors, but I just got the black and I did a little try on for this one. Okay, we have the running belt. I have the extender out. I didn't realize there was an extender at first, just to show. We have some non-slip features on the inside. First, we have Buffbunny collection in silicone to stick there, and then also this non-slip kind of velvet material. And I guess you could wear it either front or back, but I believe running belts are normally worn with this pouch in the front just for easy access. So I have already taken the belt running, and ideally for me, for a running belt, I wanted to stick where my leggings are so that it doesn't chafe me. But unfortunately, soon after starting to run in this, maybe if I put my phone in, it'll be more helpful. I'll show you in a sec, but basically we just have one big pocket in the middle here, and all you can really fit is your phone. I guess I could put some gels in here, but then when I take out my phone, my gels would be falling out. So yeah, but anyways, shortly after starting to run, and I'm just gonna kind of like speed up the process here, but it does want to come up to my waist a little bit. I will say I didn't get any chafing throughout the run, even when it did come up, but it did come up, and it doesn't bounce around too much. So definitely still wearable as a running belt for me. This is the first running belt I've had that looks like this. Generally I use my flip belt, which is just like a piece of fabric, and that one does come up a little bit too. Honestly, every running belt I've tried wants to go to the smallest point of your waist, just because that's where it wants to sit. It wants to go to the smallest point. Anyways, I have my phone in here. There's even more space if you have a slightly slightly bigger phone. And then I think these are supposed to be mini pockets for nutrition, but you really wouldn't be able to fit a gel in any of these. They're super tiny. I don't know what you could even fit. Maybe like half a packet of little running gummies. And then I did appreciate this little key leash here. I did put my keys on it and then tuck my keys into a little tiny pocket over here, and it did not move the whole time I was running. We have some reflective detail along here. Buffbunny logo is also reflective. And then just a look at the back here. We still have quite a bit of space where we can adjust, and they also have an extender. I love that they did that because a lot of running belts, in order to like accommodate more waist sizes, they don't tighten enough for me. So this one I actually can get to tighten enough for my waist, and you just release it there. But let me show you on the back first. You can kind of get it to sit right there. So I did like how secure this was. I think I'd probably bring this as like a travel running belt, but I would have liked if there was more space for gels, just because I really don't think, you know what? Let me go grab a gel and see if I can fit it. I've returned. These are my favorite running gels. Let's see if it fits. Okay. If you really want to squish it, I kind of fold it in half. All right, it fits. So in a pinch, I could do it. I'm glad that I got that to try. So it's definitely a squish to get in there, but all right, I would wear it again. And it comes in some super cute colors. They just weren't arriving in time, so I chose the black so that I could get it in time to review for you guys. But here's how you get it off. You just clip these. Boop. All right, you guys, we are done with this review. I can't believe I did it all in one day. My brain literally says no more talking, so I'm gonna be done. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. As always, leave your comments below with your questions. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Again, this launch is happening on Saturday, June 14th at 1 p.m. Central Time. And as always, you can use code Kathryn for 10% off your order. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I know it's a lot of Buffbunny reviews lately. I like them to be at least a little bit more than 1 month apart, but that's just how things fell this time, I guess. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!